There we go. We are on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live, a Tuesday live. It's Deb here, and we are, Kimberly and I love to bring you content every week and conversations with people that are, insightful, inspiring, and just educational. We want to stay in our lane and talk all things industry, and we've been doing startups. And today I'm super excited about our guest. We have Miss Stephanie Graves on, and she's going to give us answer some questions about what it's like to start up a management company because I can't even imagine. And I think she's crazy, but I'm so proud of her, kind of one of those things. So, because I don't know how she does it. But anyway, so if you're watching, make sure that you hashtag us, hashtag industry live, hashtag ThatKimberly, hashtag it's Deb or Deb DeRouen, and share. And then please interact with us, ask questions. And if you've got anything that you want to hear us talk more about, just give us an email or reach out to us. And, we want to share the things that you want to hear. So without further ado, Stephanie Graves.
Good
So
morning.
thank you for jumping on today. You are one of the hardest working women that I've ever known. And I can say that I will put you up against anyone and I will win. So you started your own management company. So tell everybody a little bit about your history and how all of this came to be.
Sure. So I have been in the industry for over 20 years. I started in college. So I was actually working at a bank, and one of my customers was in development. And they said, "Hey, you'd be really good at this development tax credit thing. You should come work for us." And that was before Google. So I went on to AOL and I was like, "What is a tax credit?" And so that's kind of how I started. I started
Mhm.
on the development side of the game and was putting together performas and all that good stuff, and then have worked for various management companies through the years. My bread and butter in my formal education is in communications and training.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I started in the industry as a training director under some really amazing women. Debbie Solzer, I've worked for, and Cindy Cappy with CNC, all kinds of amazing people. So fast forward 6.5 years ago, I started Q10 after doing some training, and we're a third party management company and consulting firm. That is what we do.
Awesome, awesome. So, what would you say? What is it? What is it like? How would you describe the startup experience in a management company? Yes, give me a description of what how you would. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we first decided to do this, I had a partner initially, and I said, "No way, I don't want to be a management company because I don't want owners calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning
Hmm.
asking me why we're over budget in landscaping." So all of the reservations I had when opening the management company are still the reservations I have every day. So nothing's changed much. It's the
Hmm.
same. It is. I've seen a graphic once about a person running on fire with a lion chasing
Hmm.
them. I
Yeah.
think that pretty much resembles what we
Hmm.
go through on a day-to-day basis in property management.
Or the
Um,
whack a mole game.
yes, yeah,
Every
whatever.
time you whack one, there's another fire. Yeah.
Yeah, and you
All
try
day.
to get ahead, and I have things focused like, okay, this is the day that I'm going to get a budget done, or this
Hmm.
is the day I'm going to get, and at 10 o'clock at night, I'm doing what I need to do, and during the rest of the day, I'm doing what everyone else needs me to do. So
Hmm.
it's a lot of fun, and it's never the same.
Hmm.
Anybody in property management can tell you that, um, and it's scary. There's a lot of
Hmm.
liability and uncertainties, and if you think about that on a day-to-day basis, it'll drive you crazy. So I think a
Hmm.
lot of us, one of our mottos at Q10 is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because
Right.
that's really what property management is when you deal with so many unknowns.
Hmm. If you looking back, what were what would be your biggest, I don't know, regret or lesson or just something that you wish you had just known these things, like these two things or one thing, when you first started that would have made the journey, a little bit easier.
Um, I think the lessons that I have are the same we have in life, right? Like the ability to say no. I really lack that ability to say no.
Hmm.
We've probably taken on properties and clients that weren't a good fit for us, and you can't that's just something you kind of learn, because when you're starting in property management, you're starting a management company, the profit margin is pretty small. So you take on more than you necessarily want to or think you can, because you've got to make the numbers work, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a property, it takes the same energy to run a 200 unit property as it does to run a 100 unit property, but you have so many more resources when you have more units, because it's just more income and more money that leads you to have more opportunities to hire better people and do better things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one, like knowing that it's going to take time, and you've just got to be anyone that's ever come to me and said, I want to start a management company, what should I do? I say, one, there's something to be said for getting a salary from an employer every
Mm-hmm.
week and not having to worry about that.
Right.
Um, we have about 100 people that work for us right now. That's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to make sure that
Right.
you make payroll every week.
Right.
Um, So understanding that, and the scheme of where we come from. So when they
Mm-hmm.
come to me and say, I want to start my management company, I say that, and you need to be prepared to not take a salary for a year as
Mm-hmm.
an owner. If you can
Mm-hmm.
do that, you may take a salary in 3 months or 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to prepare yourself that you're investing in the business and not in yourself.
Right. Wow.
So those are the
Mm-hmm.
hard things that people don't tell you. I love it when owners and investors come and they say all the great things about the properties. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, so and so's making money and they're rolling out these things. And I said, so what is not going right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's got
Right.
to be something that's not working. And
Right.
lots of times people
You're
don't
missing
share.
something there. Yeah.
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 What would you say your best resources have been along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
We've been friends and colleagues for a long time. A lot of the bread and butter of what we do and our knowledge base comes from the apartment associations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there was one thing that I could have done differently, it would have been get involved in the political part of what we do in the association sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been very involved in education, and I love that
Right.
part of it. And but the political part of what the associations do is so important for the management teams and the management side, and I think that's lost because nobody
Right.
wants to talk about politics. It's not sexy, right? It's like
Right.
complicated, and but that saves us money. It saves us,
Mm-hmm.
litigation, all of those things that are affected.
Right.
But
I
involvement in the association is imperative. It has to
right.
happen.
Oh, for 100%. And I think
Yeah.
that we need to probably even crank up the efforts to get more of that legislative information out there to our site teams and educate them a little bit more about why these things are important. Because a
Yes.
lot of times I think that they just don't even get it. They're not a part of it. No one really talks to them about it. So, I mean, I think, we could probably change that if we want to. So, mhm.
Yeah, it takes I think, it takes a lot to turn the Titanic of multifamily.
Mhm. Right.
It takes the pandemic to change
Mhm.
multifamily, right? Like, we were totally not embracing technology, and nobody wanted to do video tours or any of those things until we were forced to do it. And it's unfortunate that we're almost in a place where we're forced to make decisions about legislation now that we weren't before, because of how the government has involved themselves in our day-to-day operation
Mhm.
in terms of COVID assistance. And when who thought that the government would say you can't evict people
Mhm.
from a property that you own, right? Who thought that would
Mhm.
happen?
Right.
And it has happened. And considering who was in office when that happened, a real estate tycoon, if that can happen under that regime, then what happens under any other regime?
Right.
So I say regime lightly, but anyway, it affects us more than we
Mhm.
know. And I think we need to consider that.
Right. No, and Kimberly has asked us a question. She
Yay.
wants to know, how do you get involved with the political side with the association? So I will let you
Yes.
answer that. And and
Um,
and thank you,
but
Kimberly, for the question.
so the local association, I'm in Houston, but there's local associations all over. There's Texas Apartment Association and NAA National. Getting involved in their political action committee, or PAC, is super important. There's a membership fee in that because it supports the politics of what we do. So there's that part of it. But going to the meetings and being involved and being on the distribution list for information,
Mhm.
it's as simple as when you get an email from the apartment association and they tell you, we need your help reaching out to legislators,
Mhm.
making a phone call, sending an email, sending a letter. Those individual things make such a difference.
Right.
So be be open to it is the first thing you
Mhm.
need to do. And try to learn as much as you can in terms of, go to your local association and say, we want to help. I want to be involved more. What can I do to help with legislation?
Right. Awesome.
Reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with the partnership.
Absolutely. And as am I. So
Yes.
yes, definitely reach out to us. We are happy to help navigate you through that. Um, so as a startup management company, you're still considered a start. Would you say you're very, yeah, you're still,
Yeah.
but
Um,
it's been, how many years has it been now?
so 2015, so 6 years,
Hmm.
6.5, we're going into 7.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I every day I think that sometimes I'm like, every day we learn something. Every day it's, developing a new strategy or doing a new
Hmm.
system or a new budget system. So yeah, I still consider us a startup. I don't know when that ends.
Right. And then let's like from a supplier perspective, a supplier partner perspective, because I know Kimberly is watching and she makes sure that I say that. Um, when I'm trying to sell my service or approach a management company that is a startup, like what would be some tips that you would give me, some advice on that?
Um, in multifamily, and I've been in various industries in
Hmm.
banking, and I had a childcare daycare for a little bit. And um, for me, the number one thing in multifamily is relationships. And
Hmm.
so, making sure that you are doing what you say you're going to do and have a good ethical background, and are
Hmm.
utilizing relationships in a positive way and not in a negative way. Use your powers for good and not evil.
Right.
Relationships are the number one thing in apartments. That's how you're going to meet people. The supplier partners are very open to learning. They're very open to sharing information. Just walking onto a property is not necessarily how you're going to get business.
Right.
But that is another way. I mean, you never know when you walk into properties and you say, "Hey, are you guys looking for a landscaper?" It could be just the opportunity. I found great vendors sometimes that come by just to drop off business cards, and I'm like, "Oh, I happen to be looking for a new resurfacing contractor."
Hmm.
Um, but getting involved with other supplier partners is important.
Yeah.
Looking up
Building
One
the.
App Guarantee and
Hmm.
saying,
Right.
"Hey, what do they do? How can we partner together?" Looking
Right.
up, Kimberly, and how can we partner together is important.
Your best relationships in this industry are the ones that are true partnerships between the supplier and the management folks. So and relationships are everything, and this industry is, it's a tight industry, so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, be honest too. I mean,
Mhm.
frequently when people are asked for bids and we email them back and say, "Hey, I wanted to let you know we got your bid. Thank you so much, but we went with another supplier." They're shocked. Like, why are you? I never get an email back saying you're not going with me. We only get emails from people saying you got the deal, and it's
Mhm.
important that you maintain those relationships and you do the right thing. It's not easy. It takes time.
Right,
But
right.
those people are going to move to another property or going to move to another company or going to be in the industry. People that are in the apartment industry are in here for a very long time. So
Mhm.
it's a joke that the person that you're talking to today as your leasing agent may be your boss in 5 years, but it could happen.
It's totally
And
true, right. I've seen it happen over and over again. So it's not just a little, something that we say, like it really does happen that way. So,
yeah.
well, you have to be mindful of that. Marilyn asked a question, and if you could give only one piece of advice that would be to someone that is starting off.
Um, I have to go back to this relationship
Hmm.
situation. I mean, it you've got to maintain a good reputation in this industry.
Hmm.
I can't tell you the number of times I have people that email me about, "Hey, do you know so and so?" Or it is a very I don't like to use incestuous in that way, but it is
Hmm.
very incestuous industry. Everybody knows everybody, or I mean, it's like 3 degrees of separation.
Right,
And so I've seen many people that you thought were on the trajectory to doing things amazing, and it didn't work out because they have not done what they said they were going to do, or
right,
done things that were less than ethical. So
right.
just do the right thing and be the right
Yep.
person.
Do the right thing. And as Kimberly has chimed in, yes, use your power
Yes.
for good.
Use your powers for good and not evil. If our residents could do that, that would be awesome too.
I know. How do we teach that? That's a whole nother topic in
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
What do you think it's attributed to your success, like, so far? Is it culture? Is it what are the leadership skills that you think have guided you, you know, the best way possible? Like, what's been important
Um,
and worked?
yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for just hard work. I think that's one thing is you've got to put in the time and you've got to put in the effort and those sorts of things. I was telling my daughter we needed to go to one of the properties to help with Christmas decorations, and
Mhm.
she goes, "Maybe we should finish our Christmas decorations before we go help the property." And she's 10. So, like, those sorts of things where
That's
you
funny.
realize that you're doing more for the job than you are for your own people
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yes.
So hard work. I think flexibility is one of the things we look for in people, and flexibility in this industry is super important. So you got to be flexible, and and you have to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and better than you. I
Mhm.
mean, I have that's been our success is I hold on to people. I try to hold on to people
Mhm.
that that really care about what we do, work hard, and want to build. We don't want to be a startup anymore, and they want to build
Right.
a company.
Mhm.
So working hard and finding a good connection with who you're working with is important.
Right, like passion. Like, I'm looking for passion in the company, not just a job. Like, you can go get a sales job anywhere, but I want someone that is as passionate about what we're trying to do as
Mhm,
the rest of the team, or it's just, it's not going to work. So,
mhm,
um, I really look for that. And then I also like lifting people up and being a part of their growth is really important.
mhm,
I think that, a lot of leadership in companies kind of missed the mark on that. But you don't know, like, the pool of talent you have, underneath you, unless you really, help them grow and learn and try to lift them up.
mhm.
um
And you got to make them uncomfortable. I have
mhm,
a great team member that works for us right now that has been like she doesn't want to make the jump to supervisor, doesn't want to do it. And I was like, okay, so we're not having this conversation anymore. You are going to do it. You are capable, and you telling other people you're not capable doesn't help. So we need to start sending the message that you are capable. And she's way capable, but she's doesn't want to let you down, right? And so
mhm,
doesn't want to let herself down. But failure is something that we're gonna have. That's gonna happen. You're gonna make a bad
mhm.
decision, and it's just how it is. Like, take the jump, take the leap.
Right. No, I completely agree with that, because I've had to just, I mean, I've screwed up big. Even at my current job, I've done something, that I screwed up and was just completely mortified about, and had to have that conversation with myself. I'm just got to like make the call and own it. And I screwed it up.
Yep.
And what can we do to fix it?
Yeah.
So,
And you gotta
mhm,
be interview the people that, interview the people that, make it work. Figure out I'm all distracted
mhm.
now.
We have a nice little comment from Stephanie, who works with you. So proud to be a part of this team. Thank you, SG, for your passion, leadership, and for
Mhm.
believing in them. Oh,
Oh, so sweet.
you're
Yeah.
doing it right.
Yeah,
So keep
I have a
doing
gift card. Hold on, let me find a gift card I can send her. I
right.
think rewards are important too.
Mhm,
We talk about relationships, and we are not the highest paying property management company in Houston. It's not possible when you're a small company. So you
mhm,
have to make up for those things in other ways, right? Lots of cookies, lots of cupcakes, lots of
mhm.
love we try to send out other
Right.
people's way, and believe in the dream, right?
Believe in the dream. I think that's so important. I mean, I'm a startup, so we don't, we're hiring salespeople, and I don't, have the cushy salary that I can throw out there, but like the potential is great, and if you're passionate, like you've got this, and so I'm having to like hire
Hard.
somebody that wants to be a part of the dream here.
Yes, it's so hard. Yeah, you have no idea how many times we're like, okay, so this is the deal. Like,
Hmm.
you have to believe in what you're doing and believe that you're contributing. And working for smaller companies also has great flexibility. I
Hmm.
mean, I own the company, so we're a female-owned business.
Hmm.
There are things that we can do, and that I understand that other people don't. Like your kids are going to come first, and we got to find a way to get the properties covered with if your kids are sick, or if like those are things that don't necessarily matter to bigger companies, and
Right.
they
I
matter to
think,
us.
yeah, those are always looked upon as, problems, and, you know, um, just an interference. And it's, I just hate that type of environment. So, Yeah, and we focus on our culture here. We want everyone to truly be happy and we want them to grow. And family is first. And, we're very flexible, but we also work really hard and wear a lot of hats. So, you've got to be down for it. So
Yeah.
with a smart up mindset, that you're going to be pivoting all the time,
Yes.
constantly. So
Yeah.
it's not just,
Flexibility is so important.
yes, like you think you're going to do it this way this week, but the next week it has been changed and now you're doing it differently. So, yeah.
Yeah. Be
And I mean,
comfortable being
just
uncomfortable.
right, right, right. I love you do a really good job keeping the team tight and, making them feel valuable, important. So I have to give you some kudos for that for sure.
It's a team effort.
So what do you think 2022 is going to look like for multifamily?
Yeah,
Being the start of,
I'm
yeah, like
scared. Yeah, I'm
scared?
scared. Scared, scared, scared. I think
Really?
I'm concerned about the prices that apartments are going for.
Mhm.
Real estate is super expensive, and so what does that mean from a management perspective? It means the bar's higher in what you have to do. Income is not in relation to inflation, so all kinds of crazy things there. So that makes me a little nervous.
Mhm.
It also makes me nervous that there's less people in the workforce. And
Right.
so we're really struggling with people on property. And in doing that, we've already had a crazy year of burnout where people are so frustrated and hate each other.
Right.
Um,
There's
so
that.
yeah, I mean, the level
Mhm.
of frustration and burnout with our teams is really great. And I get it. Like, hearing how dissatisfied, I mean, you're at Starbucks and they're yelling because you didn't put, foam on your latte. Really? Like, that's what we're
Right.
upset about.
Mhm.
Um, so we're going to keep pushing on and we're going to keep doing what we do, and providing housing for people is a very righteous career, I believe.
Right.
And but controlling the level of discontent within our communities and ensuring that our teams are motivated and that truly can sustain and be happy
Mhm.
for what they do are all struggles that I worry about
Going into
frequently.
next year.
Almost all of my worries are about people,
Mhm.
all of them.
Well, it's
Like,
it's about
yeah,
the people. So.
yeah, property
Mhm.
management is easy, people management is hard.
Mhm.
And so,
Exactly.
from the residents being dissatisfied to the employees having struggles in staying motivated,
Mhm.
all of my problems are people related.
Right. I mean, if you don't have the people, you don't have the company. So
No.
it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. I I love that. What do you think about like so you're going to continue to grow. You're closing some new deals. I know you are.
Mhm.
Um do you think you're going to continue down that path for 2022? Does it or do you think you what do you think?
Yeah. So I'm gonna send some shocking. This is gonna be a shocking comment to most, but I'm not a huge goal setter. Like,
Mhm.
I don't have like a 5-year goal set that I'm like, oh, 10 properties, check. Um, our goal when we started Q10 was just to provide a great working experience and working environment for people so that they could make a good living and have flexibility to enjoy their lives and their family.
While creating great places to live for
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes the quality of balance between personal and work is a little different on
Mhm.
sometimes of the month than others. You can ask the accounting team for that. But in general, that was our goal. So we have doubled in size this year and have continued to kind of fluctuate over the years. Um, I think that we're going to continue to grow and we will probably
Mhm.
double in size next year as well if things keep going on the trajectory.
Awesome. That's so
So
exciting. Oh,
yeah, so then
yeah.
we won't be a startup anymore and we
No.
won't be a mid-sized business. So I would not be surprised if, we don't have 10,000 units in the next couple of years. So we'll see what
That's
happens.
that is
It's all
awesome.
because of people and owners and great relationships and people
Mhm.
doing the right thing. So
Right.
if we continue to do the right thing, I have faith that things will work out.
I think
And
we
if they
will.
don't, we're fine.
I
Like,
I think that things are changing and everyone's starting to look at things a little bit differently coming out of this. Creating great places to live and making sure that like I feel like our world in a lot of ways has gotten back to the basics.
yes, yes,
Some haven't, but I don't know. I think everybody's headed in the right direction. People are more mindful or trying to be more mindful and empathetic and give grace. And, I think we just need to continue to calm everyone down.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hopefully 2022 will be when we can just like take a deep breath and we can figure out how we're gonna do this, and we can all be nice to each other in the process. That would be great.
Yes. I think passion is important, but making sure that that passion is focused in a way that has positive results for people is important.
Yes, I completely agree. Well, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you
So,
guys for doing this. I think this
yeah.
is good information and good time to share with you. I love hanging out with you guys and chatting. So if you guys need
Well,
anything, let me know.
awesome, awesome. Before we wrap up, I'm going to post this up here. Make sure you hashtag industry live. There's the contact information for Kimberly and myself. And Stephanie, how can people reach you? What's your preference on that?
I'm on all the little things, the
All the
socials,
socials.
all the socials. But our emails are easy at the office. You can always find me
Yes.
at
Right.
sg@q10pa.com.
And
Easy, easy.
I appreciate you making easy email addresses.
Yes,
Yeah.
SG. Sometimes they're challenging, but yeah,
Hmm.
find me. I'd love to connect with everyone, anyone.
Yes. You
And
are.
hopefully I will see you soon
Yes, yes,
at an
yes.
event.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we totally will. There's at least a couple of things on the calendar before the end of the year, but thank you again. I mean, I admire you, and you've done a really great job, and people have always been important to you. So it was fun having you today and getting to ask the questions and learn. So I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy
Alrighty, bye
Thanksgiving.
guys.